Aloha, my name is Shana, and this is Ulalena. I am actually pretty lucky to have seen Ulalena in its first year, and the year that it came, 1999, I was actually a senior up at the high school here on the west side, Lahaina Luna High School. What they did was the year that Ulalena came to Maui. Um, Actually, a whole bunch of schools on the island of Maui made it a point to come and make Ulalena a part of their curriculum, and it was so inspiring to see how they were able to take the Hawaiian culture, present it in such a way where we're going to entertain you. It is a show, but to educate you as well. And to be born and raised here on Maui and Hawaii, you kind of are raised with a pretty good knowledge of the history, the culture, but the way that Ulalena was actually able to package that all together and make it universal. It was just so inspirational, and I was just so excited that I wanted to be on that stage so badly that the night I saw it, I called home and I said, there's this awesome show and I really want to be a part of it. I was lucky enough actually to get a chance to audition shortly after graduating and joining the cast, and here I am. The Kapa Goddess, specifically, her name is called Lauhuki. We just refer to her as the Kapa Goddess. In the scene, we try to give you just a snapshot, just a normal everyday life and what it may have looked like in ancient Hawaii. So we have the men, or the kane, and they are pounding kalo. They are making poi. The other half of the stage is the women, and they are actually making, they're beating kapa, which is a bark. And with this beading, turns it into the cloth, which is what we used for clothing back in the day. The goddess comes in a vision to the daughter shortly after she gets scolded for getting unruly in the scene. What I like about the scene is that even though it's giving you an everyday look at the human aspect of life, it also shows that there's this other realm, this connection that, you know, the gods and the goddesses are able to connect with you. In ancient Hawaii, the Hawaiians had such a huge connection to nature. It was one of those, you take care of the land and the land will therefore take care of you. Through that level of connection with the land back in ancient Hawaii, they wanted to show how closely we worked every day. So that's why we become the fish. That's why we become the waves in the ocean. That's why we become the trees in the forest. In the forest scene, we actually, I like to think about it is when you really get to see the different levels. You get to see the humans, you get to see the mythical beings and the gods and goddesses. It's definitely a central point of interaction. You see the high chief's woman start to flirt with the younger chief, and the girl who is promised to him, there's some tension there, so that's kind of a foreshadowing of what may happen later on. The trees are actually lucky enough to be interacting with Taro, who is our ancient ancestor. So what I like about that scene is not only do we get to be tall trees in the forest or our little trees down on the ground, but to show that interaction between nature and the gods and the goddesses. The chants that we do, the dances that we do, these are ancient chants and hulas that, you know, were very sacred. Most of the things actually that we portray in the show had to be okayed by Hawaiian resources throughout the state of Hawaii. So to be able to present these things, which may not otherwise see the light of day, I think that in itself is such a treat. And thankfully Ulalena is one of those outlets to where we can, you know, maybe expand some the culture to you. It is full circle because I can remember what it was like to see it. The payoff is actually to just look at their eyes, to see the way their eyes light up. And we're lucky enough to where when the kids are done watching our show, we actually do go outside and get to, say hi and talk story and take pictures with them, and to see their eyes just light up. You can read about the culture, and you can watch movies, but there's something about having it performed live. There's something about planting that seed in a child's mind that they do go home and they talk about. Oh, I read about this in a book, but I get to see it live performed in front of me, and oh, the pig was funny and the lava, and sometimes it takes a different path to make that stick in a child's mind. Our future cast is there in the audience. So to have that continue, there will be kids who grow up to become cast members, and they will say, I saw the show when I was 5 years old, and I've thought of nothing else. I think of it as just this overwhelming joy to share the culture, to share what our lives are like, but also it's a responsibility, I find, because even though we're in this modern age where you can basically look up anything on the internet, we have libraries now which can explain everything, there are still stereotypes out there. There are still, oh, Hawaii is just, sunshine and beautiful beaches and waterfalls. And there is this whole other side to Hawaii, and what I like to do is not only entertain but educate. And I think Ulalena has definitely been one of the forerunners for that.